Hi everyone, welcome back to Nails by Sora. Today I'm going to be doing a full removal, and I figured I'd go over a few things that I may not have mentioned before, and also I don't remember when the last time was that I did a full removal, so I figured I might as well go through the process. So I want to go over a few things that you may need first and foremost. I do use a dust collector. This one is from Pierre Sky. It's their Beyond Pro nail dust collector, and I'm going to be putting in a disposable filter. Now you can lay this right on top. You don't have to though. I like to sneak it right underneath the magnetic tray or grill rather, so that I'm not moving it with my hands while I'm working. So that way it's right snug in there, and you can see when you turn it on, the suction right away, it pulls it down. I'm gonna turn it off for a moment. I did have someone ask me the other day, I posted a picture of my nails and they wanted to know if these charms can be saved. So I've only ever put charms on myself, and the large ones I do try to save. Not because they're terribly expensive, but because I like them, and for myself, I don't want to have to keep replacing them. Also, I attach them with gel, so it's easy just to get a narrow nail drill bit underneath and pop it off as gently as possible. That way I can reuse it on myself, and I don't have to worry about always having to replace the same gems if I want to reuse them. That being said, if you're going to do that with a client, I wouldn't necessarily put it back into your kit to use on somebody else. I would offer it to the client for them to keep if they wanted to bring it back with them for another manicure at some point in the future. It's theirs. They paid for the manicure. They paid for the charm. So I feel like it's only proper to offer for them to keep the charm if they want it. So I usually go and do that first. I'm going to be doing wow, my nails are dirty. I ate a muffin before and the crumbs are all over my nails, but I'm going to be doing a full removal. Generally speaking, I would just take my efile, which is over here, and I'd use either a sanding band or a silicone bit, and ceramic bit, and I'd file down the color and back fill on top of it. But my nails are growing out quite a bit, and they're dirty, and I need a new set. So I am going to do a full removal, and I'm sure you've seen these in the past. These are tip cutters. Do not use them. I mean, you can if you want, they're yours. But they are not meant to cut through layers and layers of acrylic or gel product or whatever else you have on top of your nails. These are literally tip cutters. They're made for when you are first applying the tips, to size them and cut down the acrylic extensions or the soft gel extensions. Once you have product on your nails, it's going to take a lot more force to cut through those layers of product, and you're either going to damage your tip cutter, your nail, or both. So what I like to do is file down as much as possible. Then I can go in and cut down my nails, finish off filing, do a soak off if I'm going to do a soak off, and then continue as I ordinarily would. Some supplies that you may need in addition to a nail dust collector if you want one, an efile if you want one, are safety glasses, because acrylic and dust particles fly all over the place, and I've had the unfortunate experience of having a layer of acrylic fly off into my eye and weld itself to my eyeball. I was able to get it out without too much difficulty, just flushing my eye with water, but it's not a pleasant feeling. And if you can avoid it, I would. I will link these in the description box below. They're just a cheapy pair from Amazon, but they're covered on all sides, bottom, top, and they will help protect you from a lot of discomfort. And then the last thing you may want is a mask, just because the dust collector can only do so much. You're still breathing in dust particles. You want to limit that as much as possible. So that being said, I'm going to pull out the bits that I want to use. So I have these panna bits that I'd gotten a while ago, And I generally don't use this one. It's extra coarse. I didn't realize at the time that I bought an extra coarse and I was going to return it, but I thought might as well just practice with it and try to get the hang of it. So I will be using it for the removal of the acrylic unless I start having problems, and then I will probably switch to a ceramic bit. Why does this look like it's bent? But before that, I do want to remove the charms. So I'm going to go in with, let me find it. My safety bit. This is a carbide safety bit. It is called a safety bit because it's flat at the top, it's not pointed, and you're less likely to cut into yourself. The ones that are rounded are also safety bits because they provide a layer of protection between the bit and your cuticle line, otherwise known as the proximal nail fold. But everybody calls it the cuticle. It's just easier to say the cuticle line because that's where the cuticle comes out of. This is not your cuticle. That is your eponychium or the proximal nail fold. The cuticle is the white flaky bit that goes up onto the nail. It comes out from the eponychium and grows up onto the nail plate. And that's the end of the lesson for today. But I'm going to turn this on. It is going to get quite loud, so I probably won't talk much while it's on. I'm going to put on my glasses. I'm going to put on my mask. And I'm going to take my efile and I'm going to put it up to 15. So I'm just going to go underneath to try to create kind of like a well so that the charms are sitting more on top of the nail. I'm digging out kind of a groove around. Remember to put your drill in the opposite direction when you switch hands. So once that's done, you can take an old pair of clippers that you don't use on your cuticles and just gently try to lift it up off the nail. That took a little bit more effort than I was looking to go through, but because this one is one large piece that lays flush on the nail, I had to really get under it to get the gel out from underneath it. So there is a little bit of residue on here. You could always brush it with some acetone and clean it up a little bit. I'm just going to set it off to the side. I didn't dent any of the enamel, which is good. I did lose a stone though. Unfortunately, I lost the pink stone, which is down there, but I can glue another one on. That's not a big deal. I'm going to move that aside and move to my right hand, which is going to be a little bit more difficult because it's my non-dominant. You do want to make sure that when you're doing this, you're laying it flush against your nail and not drilling down, because God forbid you slip, you don't want to go into your nail plate. You want to work slowly, dig a trowel out from underneath as best as you can. That way you can just peel it up. Okay, it just bounced up onto the other side of my desk. So I'm going to sand that down later on the other side. I did manage to keep all of the stones on this one. So let's see about replacing that other stone that I lost, which is right underneath here. So I'm just going to take some nail glue. I'm going to put a little dot of it right here. I'm trying to pick it up. And then we're going to put this in a lamp to cure. All right, so that's the removal of the gem portion. Now I'm going to go into the removal of the product. So I'm not going to focus on removing all the product right away from my entire nail. I want to focus on the tip itself so that I can go ahead and clip off the excess. So just putting away some miscellaneous tools, I'm going to swap out my bit. And then I've had my mask down, so I'm going to actually put it up after I go through a brief demonstration of how I do the removal. All right, so I know a lot of people use their drill at minimal speed, but for removal, I like to have it up as high as possible. That being said, as I said, this is an extra coarse grit, and I try to be a little bit more careful when using it. You can also file off the tip. You don't need to clip it off, but I'd rather do that with a less coarse bit. So I'm going to put this up to about 25. Usually when I file off, I go all the way up to 35, but not with the extra coarse bit. I'm going to put the fan all the way up, and I'm going to go horizontal, or parallel rather, to the nail. I'm not going to tip it down. I'm not going to tip it back. You don't want to run the risk of it skipping off the nail. I did that with this nail at one point. This bit went all the way around and cut me all the way around. Thankfully not deeply. But I don't say this to scare anyone. Just be cautious that you always want it to be in line with the surface of the nail. So the only time you want to dip it down is when you're following the curve of the nail, and then you dip it back towards the free edge. So going in one direction to start, towards me. And you just want to go slowly. Take your time if you're not familiar with removal. If you're not familiar with the bit, if it's new, just go slowly. And don't rush the process. So I'm going to focus on the tip right now because I want to take that down so that I can remove it. Okay, so once you get down to this point, you can see it's just the tip and my natural nail. You can go ahead and clip that off. Okay, so we're at the point where I don't want to remove any more product by filing because I don't want to run the risk of going down into my natural nail plate. I can tell from looking at the free edge that it's a pretty thin layer at this point, but there's still obviously some product. I can see the milky white of the product over my nail, and I can see some around the sidewall and the cuticle line. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to soak off the rest of it, but first I want to remove the rest of my nails down to this point. I'm going to file it all the way down to the pad of my finger because I like having them as short as possible when I go and put on a new set. And then I will show you the soak off process. So I will show you one more finger, and then we're going to jump ahead to the soak off process. Yeah, so once again, jumped. This is the only bit that I've ever used that does this to me. So I will be switching bits and I will not be using this bit again. I do have this Nick safe that I got at school. You can pick it up online on Amazon. It's a Styptic. It's a, I believe it's an antiseptic. And it also helps clot. So I'm just going to, it's a powder, but it comes in liquid form also. I'm just going to put it on my finger and wait for it to clot before I continue. So I just want to go over, there's no tips and tricks to doing your non-dominant hand. It's just about necessarily going slower and finding the angles that work. You want to balance your non-dominant hand so that you have some safety, so that you're not going all over the place. And you just want to make sure that you're keeping the drill bit at the proper angle. So even if you have to go a little bit slower, because I can't get the amount of pressure with my left hand that I get with my right hand. I just don't have it. So I'm just going slowly, turning my hand frequently to get the angles that I need, keeping my left hand stabilized. And then if I have to do a little bit more soak off with my right hand because I can't get the amount of product off that I want, okay, so for trimming my nails down the rest of the way, I'm going to use these large clippers just because it's easier than using this. And I'm just going to go in a semicircle around the free edge. Let me put down a piece of paper towel to collect. You know, I love doing acrylic, I really do. But the amount of dust from falling off is so So just so much as compared to gel products. So this finger I have to be careful with. I had sliced through my finger at one point, so it's a little separated. The nail doesn't grow onto the nail plate all the way to the free edge. So it dips down a little bit. So it's always a little bit harder to shape and do that nail.
You don't need to hide. Come closer so that we can be together. Everything that has been don't matter no more.
All right, so moving on to the next part. These are nail polish remover pads. It's foil with a little cotton pad attached. I thought I had a package that was open. Yep. Okay, so I'm going to take out 10, one for each finger. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And these, honestly, I've had for over a year because I do a full removal so rarely that it's probably going to, well, now that I'm doing clients, I'll probably go through them a lot faster, but pick them up on Amazon. And then you just want to take your acetone. Get the pad nice and saturated. And wrap your finger. I'm going to do one hand at a time just because it's going to be impossible to operate with both hands.
Everything that has been don't matter no.
If you hear a scream, send help. Ha 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 ha. I don't know if I can do this. It hurts. Let me see what I can do. Grin and bear it, grin and bear it, grin and bear it. Okay, so I'm a bit impatient, so I'm going to start scrubbing on my left hand. There are several implements you can use. I'm just going to wrap this back up as I describe. What implements you want to use. So these are cuticle pushers. This one I got in school and is pretty much the same one as this one that I already had. It's a little bit longer, a little bit more concave. This one's a little bit flatter and shorter. You could also use this end, but I wouldn't advise it because it's a little harsh. Ow, my pinky is throbbing. And then this one, which is specifically used for removal. Now, my teacher doesn't really like this implement because it is very harsh if you use it on your natural nail, but seeing as how we're removing layers of product, I feel relatively safe in using it. I actually prefer it because I feel like it does a better job. So you want to go in and just slowly and carefully scrape away the layers of product, whether it's gel or acrylic, from the surface of your nail. You don't want to dig, you don't want to push down and put a lot of pressure. You just want to pull it off the surface. Now, I generally leave a thin layer on my nail, even when I'm doing a new full set. So I'm going to remove as much as I can, and then I'll probably just smooth it out, buff it, and then we'll be good to go for the fresh set. But I'm going to put this back on and let it soak a little bit longer, and I'm going to move on to my next finger. I'm not putting the acetone back on this finger because, ow, I still have quite a thick layer of acrylic or gel on my nail, so I'm just going to file that off manually. I'm going to give this another, let's see, 5 minutes, and then I will finish the removal on my left hand. All right, so for the last bit of cleaning up the nails, I'm going to go ahead and use this mini narrow mandrel bit with a 180, I believe this is a 180 grit sanding band. So I'm just going to use it to gently go over the surface and take down the profile a little bit more. I have my efile set to 10. And I'm being careful that if I suspect that I'm hitting natural nail, I'm just not going to go over it. Not putting any pressure down, just lightly gliding it over the surface.
Come closer, dance for me. Easy, tiger, easy, let your hair down. Come closer, let me see all your million faces and all your million mistakes.
All right, so that's pretty much the entire process. I am going to dust off my nails now. If I was going to wear, excuse me for that, if I was going to wear bare nails, I would first of all take down the profile completely. Then I would go ahead and clean up the cuticles. I'd go in and finish off with some cuticle oil, but I'm going into prepping for a whole full new set. So right now I just want to, why am I using acetone? Right now I just want to take some alcohol and just wipe the dust off of my nails in preparation for doing that prep for a whole new set, which will be in my next video. So please stay tuned for that. It is quite a lengthy process to go ahead and remove a full set, go into prepping for a new set, which is A, why I don't want to do it all in one video, and B, why I do it so rarely to begin with, because I rather just take down the profile as much as possible without compromising the structure of the nail, and then going in and doing a backfill. But that's going to do it for this video. Thank you so much for joining me. I know my nails look rough and ragged right now, but they will look a lot better after I do some cuticle cleanup and start getting ready for the next set. So please stay tuned for that. And thank you once again for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was educational. If you have any comments or questions as to any of the products I used, any of the techniques I employed, please put them down in the comment section below. And I will leave information for all the products and equipment that I used in the description box below. And I hope to see you in the next video. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.